Hey everyone, it's Michelle. In today's video, I'll be doing a casual get ready with me style video showing my current skincare routine as well as my go-to makeup products to achieve a very minimal but enhanced polished look. In my skincare routine, there are some new products that I have not featured before but have been using for a while now. And as for the makeup, I've been using it for the past couple of months. I know we're not really going anywhere still, especially here in Canada. But I do like doing this makeup routine because it just makes me feel pretty, it makes me feel human and just put together during these times. If you're interested in a particular skincare or makeup product, I'll be leaving timestamps down below so you could jump to that section. Otherwise, I do hope you watch the video in full and that you enjoy it as well. All right, started off my morning skincare routine with a water rinse. I used lukewarm water leaning cool. So now that my face is damp, I'm gonna go in right away with a hydrator. So for that, I'll be using the Rovectin Skin Essentials Activating Treatment Lotion. I also featured this in my last winter skincare routines video. I'm almost at the end, so I just want to finish it up. And as always, I'm going to use a nickel size all over my face and neck. And I'm going to use 2 more layers, so 3 layers total. I like using a hydrator in my skincare routine because it just keeps my skin feeling really nice and comfortable throughout the day. It prevents that tight, dehydrated feeling because I can still experience that during the warmer months as well. Also, this adds a nice light layer of moisture on my skin since my skin is normal to dry. Once the weather starts warming up a bit more, it will be more normal. The weather has been fluctuating a lot lately, so I still like using a more viscous hydrator. Now I'm going to go in with my vitamin C serum. I'll be using the Skin Authority Super C Serum. I already reviewed this as well as another vitamin C serum in a previous video, which I will link down below. So this is an L-ascorbic acid serum with picogenol in it, which is also an antioxidant. And this is a pH of around 3.65. It has a really nice kind of jelly texture. And the reason I'm using this one is because it did oxidize a little bit when I kept it out for about a week from the fridge. So I just want to use this one up first. I like that the texture is thick. It's actually thicker than the Rovectin lotion. So this adds a really nice moisturizing layer to the skin. I'm gonna take a couple of more drops for my neck and chest area. This is the one thing I kind of don't really like about it. It's super sticky, as you can see, but it does add extra moisture to my skin and just keep my face looking really nice and bright and plump. Now I'm going to go in with a prescription topical. I'll be using my 5% Aczone gel. So for this, I just apply a thin amount all over my face and underneath my jaws. That's where I break out. And this is the active in my morning routine that just helps with any active acne breakouts, inflamed or non-inflamed, and it also helps with prevention as well. Next step is moisturizer, and I'm actually not using the Bioderma Atoderm Intensive Balm. I'm using something else, surprisingly, which is the Eucerin Complete Repair 5% cream. This contains 5% urea in it. So for those of you that are a bit more in tune with the skincare world, FC from Simple Skincare Science launched a 5% urea gel moisturizer as well as a 2.5% benzoyl peroxide gel. I actually have both of them. I have been testing out both of them for just over a month now, so I do plan on reviewing them in full. To sum it up, I have noticed some subtle benefits of using a 5% urea moisturizer in my skincare routine. The Malaysia one is a bit too light in consistency for my drier skin type. That's why I decided to purchase a Eucerin moisturizer that is a little bit heavier. That is what it looks like. It's like a light cream, and I do like using a generous amount of it just because sometimes I do find it a bit light. I guess I'm just used to that thicker consistency like the Bioderma one that I like using. But so far it's been performing well, and if I do feel like my skin is still a bit dry, I'll just mix in the Aquaphor with it like I did in my winter skincare routine. But with the weather getting warmer, this should be okay on its own. So urea is a humectant that is naturally occurring in our skin. So it binds onto water, but it has a couple of other benefits as well. FC from Simple Skincare Science does a very nice extensive blog post on the benefits of urea. I highly suggest you check it out. But to sum it up, it is a humectant like I just mentioned. It also helps to thicken our skin as well as help with its desquamation process. So our skin cells' natural shedding process. So what I'm hoping hoping is that my skin is not as susceptible to dehydration and dryness. It just finally feels fairly normal. Also, with the desquamation process, I just hope it maintains my skin's clarity and brightness. Moisturizer step is done. Now moving on to the last part of my morning skincare routine, which is sunscreen. So the two new SPFs that are currently rotating in my skincare routine are these right here. So this one's the Biore UV Watery Essence SPF 50 Plus PA4 Plus, and the Ulta MD Skincare UV Clear Broad Spectrum SPF 46 tinted sunscreen. But today I will be using the Biore one just because I am going to be applying makeup right after my skincare, and I want you to see how the concealer performs. I don't want any type of light tinted coverage that comes from the sunscreen. This Biore one is a very popular sunscreen. My friend with drier skin loves this. She says it's her holy grail. So I'm hoping that this will be a new lightweight sunscreen that I can use consistently as well. Wow, there is quite a scent to this. Is that alcohol? I think there is a fragrance that they put in this, and I feel like it's a mix of that plus the alcohol in the formula. From what I read on Ratzilla Cosme, which is like a great source for translating any Japanese skincare and makeup, it does say that this is water resistant for up to 80 minutes. Feels really nice. It's light, but it does feel like it has a moisturizing film to it. Oh, just stabbed myself with my nails. This is fairly a new sunscreen in my routine. This is the second time I'm using it. And the first time I used it around my eyes, they were fine. So no irritation there. This texture feels really nice. It kind of reminds me of the Eucerin cream, except in a more gel version. Sunscreen is applied. I am officially done my morning skincare routine. I'm just gonna leave my face be for around 15 minutes just to let the UV film actually form on my skin. And after that, I will be going into my current makeup routine, which is super minimal, easy, and quick to do. And it just makes me feel really good. Makes me feel like a human during these circumstances. All right, 15 minutes have passed, and just by touching my skin, I can feel a film. It's quite moisturizing, quite slippy. For me, for my normal to dry skin, I actually like that. And having said that, I am going to start my fairly minimal makeup routine. So I am using 5 products total to achieve a really nice, simple, but polished look. I actually did a reel of this on my Instagram, which if you are not following, please do, because I post some stuff there that you will not see here on YouTube. As I've mentioned already, I just like how this makeup routine is not only fairly quick, but it just makes me feel really good, especially during the times that we're in. It really just perks up my mood. I just scooched in a little bit more, and we're gonna kick off this minimal makeup routine with the Glossier Boy Brow. I use the shade Brown. I just like how this makes my brows look a little bit thicker, a bit fuller, and it also adds some color, and the color is very good for my brows. I'm just gonna be using the monitor to do my left brow. And for those of you that don't know, my brows are microbladed. I haven't done anything to them since 2018, which was my first touch-up, and they have lasted pretty well. They still maintain their shape, so I just find a brow gel is perfect. Sometimes if I want them to look a little bit sharper, I will use a brow pencil. I'm gonna have to look into the mirror here because it got a little bit messy. After brows, I like to go in with a bit of concealer, and for that, I'll be using the Kosas Revealer Super Creamy Plus Brightening Concealer, and I have the shade 3.2. So in my last minimal makeup routine video, I did not use any concealer. I actually used primer, and they were color correcting primers. One of the main reasons for that is because sometimes it is so dry in the winter time that I actually like to reapply moisturizer on my face. So having any type of concealer on my face is just not good. But also I haven't really found a concealer that does not dry out my face like a foundation does that time of year. My previous go-to concealer was the Glossier Stretch Concealer. It is the old shade name, so I had the shade medium. I'm not sure if the formula has changed or not, but that was my go-to concealer because I liked how emollient it was on application, but it did make my skin feel dehydrated throughout the day even if I did not powder my face. But but this Kosas concealer does not do that at all. My skin feels comfortable when I wear this concealer throughout the day, and it doesn't make my nasolabial folds look prominent. This concealer gives me the correction I want without experiencing any of that dehydrated feeling. So I do like to put it around this area because it is a little bit darker here, as well as up here where my sunglasses usually sit. I also like to do a bit on my nose just because I do have some residual redness there, and in this area as well. And I use really light dots. Even then, sometimes this amount of concealer is a bit much. Otherwise, what I would do is just take a bit on the back of my hand and then mix the brush in and then apply the concealer on my face. But because my face is a little bit discolored, because I did have a bit of a breakout the other day, it is like clockwork when I eat some type of carby food and my period is coming up. I do experience breakouts, but fortunately they are not active, so they're not inflamed or painful. So my face does feel comfortable and calm. Otherwise, I don't really use concealer to cover them. I just stopped caring. And by the way, this is the Rare Beauty concealer brush. I love it. And I don't like to put concealer under my eyes just because I find it makes my under eyes look a lot worse, and again, it feels dried out. This doesn't necessarily make my under eyes feel dried out. I just don't like concealer under my eyes, so I do avoid it. And I just like how this blends into my skin tone so nicely. It is like non-existent. You can't even tell it's on my skin. You can get more coverage out of this concealer and it would still look fairly natural even without foundation underneath, but I have noticed in false light that you will notice the concealer on the center of your face. So that's why I like using a light amount, because one, that's just all I need to get the correction that I want, but also it looks a lot more natural in any lighting. So I put a bit more on the back of my hand, and now I'm just going to show you what it would look like if I covered these non-active spots on my face, just so you get an idea of how natural this concealer looks. This shade 3.2 I read it's for neutral undertones. That's why I went for it, because the Kosas concealers seem to lean a bit warm, so I wanted to get the neutral shade just so it doesn't look too stark of a difference. I'm just putting a bit more around my nose here. All right, and going in here to these breakouts, just lightly patting. And I'm not applying this concealer in a way that I want absolutely full coverage. I just want to minimize the redness around the breakouts. A bit more around my chin because I have a breakout there too. And again, it just blends into my skin really nicely, just really good for no foundation type of makeup. And just like that, we are done with the concealer step. Now I'm going to go in with blush, and for that I will be using the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blush in the shade Joy. This is a nice peachy coral color. And if you follow me on my Instagram already, you know that I have been obsessed with these blushes. I actually have 4 shades, but the color Joy in particular, I like using all on the high parts of my cheeks, and I like using it as a tint on my lips as well. So that's why I decided to go with this color. Otherwise, I would say my favorite shade is Bliss, which is like a nice soft pink color. I've been wearing it in majority of my videos ever since I got these blushes. But in today's video, I want to show you how I like to use Joy. So what I'm gonna do is wipe off all this excess, because if you don't know already, these are very pigmented, and I'm just going to apply a dot like that at the highest part of my cheeks. That is all you need. And I'm blending this out with the Sephora Pro Diffuser 64 brush. This is my favorite brush for blushes. I also like to put a bit right here on my lids, just get a bit of color there. And that is what the blush looks like. Blend it out. I'm gonna blend the other side before it sets on my skin, but with the dewy formula, you definitely have a bit more time to blend it out than the matte. Another thing I like to do is blend it out at the top of my nose here, just to look like I have a bit of a natural flush going on, but a coral peachy kind of flush. And then I just go in with my finger and apply it on my lips like a tint. We are now done with the cheeks and the lips. Since I knew I wanted to apply the blush on my lids here, that's why I didn't go in with mascara right away. But now that it is applied, I will be going in with the Glossier Lash Slick Mascara. So this is a tubing mascara. I believe it's the first one I have ever tried. And oh my goodness, does it make my life so much easier to remove makeup at the end of the night, especially because I do have sensitive eyes. So I'm not going to curl my lashes because I find when I use mascara, my lashes hold a curl on its own, which I'm surprised about because it used to not do that before. It used to droop. Not sure what changed. I'm just wiggling it at the base of my lashes and then brushing up. And I'm trying not to make a silly face while applying this. If I wasn't recording, I'd be like that, but I'm trying to look a little bit sophisticated. And notice I'm just continuously building the mascara. This formula has dried out a little bit, but either way, I just like that I can build this without it looking super clumpy. Okay, and that's what one eye looks like. Now onto the other eye, and taking an absurdly long time because I'm trying not to make a face. That is it for the eyes. I don't like applying mascara on my bottom lashes anymore, just because for it to actually not smudge, I need to powder the heck out of my eye area. I don't like my eye area feeling dry. It irritates my eyes. I like keeping the eye area moisturized. So I just settle with applying mascara on the top lashes only. Typically, I'm a lot shinier than this when I use the Dermatology Universal Tinted Moisturizer SPF 46. But the Biore UV Essence seems to give a really nice sheen on the skin. So with this sunscreen, I would just call it quits. I wouldn't go in with powder, but most of the time I do. And for that, I do use the Kosas Cloud Set Baked Setting and Smoothing Powder. I have the shade Feathery. To apply this powder, I like using a fairly fluffy, dense brush. So for this, I will be using this Juvia's Place brush. So I just massage the brush into the pan here like this, just to get a nice coating. And then I press onto my face. What I like about this powder is that it does have some slight blurring properties, so it's good for my pore area, but it still lets a bit of luminosity through. It's like controlled luminosity, so nothing too shiny, it's just right. I don't find it particularly good at controlling oils, but having said that, my face doesn't look as oily by the end of the day. But there's still a bit of a luminosity there. So as you can see, there's still a nice sheen going on, but the glow is a bit more subdued. See, it's not as shiny, but there's still some luminosity on my skin. All right, and that is it for this skincare and makeup routine video. Just to recap, I used 5 products in both routines. That is all I need to address any concerns I have with my skin, getting it to feel comfortable. Also, it's all the makeup I need to make me feel more human. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel down below for future videos, leave a comment if you have any questions or recommendations, and I will see you all soon. Ciao.